Another beautiful Friday. Gil, good to see you. Who's out there?
It's a cold day in Florida, man.
Is it? Warm
For
day in
me,
New
it is.
York.
Yeah. And by cold, I mean like it was like 49 degrees. So, which is probably a hot, sunny day for you.
I just came back from Utah. I went to real estate spring break for the second year. Incredible event. Really good, really well put together. Those guys did really well. Took a bunch of notes, been going through them, and excited to share a little bit of what I have and hear about the group, what's been going on with everybody else.
Sweet. You know how we start this off? We're gonna do some blessings. If you've got something you've been doing pretty well, you've got some momentum going on right now. You brought somebody over the bridge. You got somebody who's on the bridge. Which, by the way, if you got somebody on the bridge, sometimes it's more important than getting somebody over the bridge, right? And keeping people on the bridge by continuing to having those conversations, understanding that the people who fail in this agent attraction model are the people who just bring them on the bridge and are really great first dates, invite them to one thing, understanding that it takes 7 or 8 things to be able to bring them across the bridge. If you've got a blessing right now, you want to share it. Share it. I'd love to hear about it. Tell me. We're going to take about 2 or 3 of those and then move on. I can't wait to hear what happened in spring break. While you were at spring break, I was at spring break with my kids, and we went to sunny Fort Lauderdale, which it rained every day. So we decided to come home. So where we have a little bit better weather here. All right, come on. Share with me. Let me hear you.
All right, I'll start it off. Good morning,
Let's
guys.
go. Good morning.
I do. I'm gonna count my blessings. This week, I got a listing agreement in Brooklyn, Eastern York Commercial with the mixed unit, and the most of my blessings it goes really to my team leader, really to Vincent Koo, because
Uh-oh.
he helped me out big time. This just came out of nowhere where they wanted to meet up with me on a Friday late afternoon. I was out in Long Island in Massapequa, and I called up Vincent and I said, "Hey, do you mind sitting with me on this one?" Because I knew they were kind of a little tight and little very what was it like detailed. So Vincent sat with me, helped me with this one, and went with me to Brooklyn. So and then on Tuesday we got it signed. So my blessings is to my team and really for Vincent really helping me out on this one. So
Love to hear it.
Good stuff. You
Appreciate
know
it.
what's funny? You know what's the amazing part of that blessing is we keep that blessing internal. But imagine if you shared that sentiment on social media, Chris, and people were able to see why people join eXp every day, right? People join eXp because they want support, because they want training, because they want to have that community. All three of those things you mentioned in that little piece right there, that piece of gratitude. But by the way, kudos to you for sharing that because, I always say that blessings that are now counted or subtracted, right? So if you're not counting those blessings, then sometimes kudos to you. Who else has a blessing they want to share?
Thank you, Chris.
Come on, guys. Wake up. It's Friday. I know it's spring break for some of you guys, but not for all of you.
I do.
Go ahead.
Uh,
Well, last week I shared, and I'm gonna share again. To thank you, Gil, for everything you do for us in here in Orlando and the community you make us create with intention. In as I was happy to be in Cabo. I can't wait to be in the next cruise for first time ever. I'm gonna be on the cruise. I already signed in. I'm so excited because I had learned so much, and I'm very happy to be belong to this team, amazing leaders, and something that I want to share personally. A few years ago, when we were sitting on the coaches and council members that you have a meeting here, you mentioned something about ChatGPT. That was just released in November. We were in January, and that was funny because everybody on the chairs were looking you like, okay, this guy is coming out with this concept about the new generation, what is coming. It's impossible for us to be on that. And now being Cabo and see that everybody's talking about AI and the future of, we had to be joining, but no, we belong to them, but they don't own us. We own the AI is something like it made me realize every day, the good training that you guys have, and thank you guys for pay a coach and coaching us with that. But it's amazing, and thanks to that, I've been talking to a few realtors, followers on Instagram, everything, and two of them actually just reached out to me this week, and they were asking me how I do my videos and if they are AI or something. I said, well, we do use AI, but we keep real. We use AI in some stuff, but we don't our life is not belong to AI. And I start talking to them. Hopefully, they're joining us very soon. I can't wait for
Good,
opening the office.
good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, listen, guys, I gotta tell you, like, you grow when you share, right? When you share your best practices. I was listening to John Cheplac this morning because I love to listen to him on Fridays because Fridays is Freedom Friday, and we're going to talk about how you can do the simple things that age and attract. And he said, and I forgot this, Vince. It's funny because you do this very naturally. Um, John says the first meeting is you should just be figuring out like what's important to them, right? It's almost like we're looking to bridge the gap, right, between where they want to be, where they are right now, and where they want to be. And he talked about like that first meeting, the first time you talk to an agent should be a coaching call. It should be a little bit of like, hey, here's what could help you even more. And by the way, here's even more, which is the next meeting. So, listening to him this morning was kind of inspiring for my calls, and I'm going to be doing it at 9:45. Hopefully, you guys are all doing the same thing on 9:45. You're going to take that time to really grow your agent attraction model on purpose with intention, right? So when we end today, that's exactly where we're going. So I want to hear all about spring break, Vince. So I know that community. I would have been there, but like again, I had my kids spring break at the same time, and they worked they're doing really good in school, so we wanted to do something nice for them. But tell me about what you learned at spring break
Yeah.
that could definitely valuable to this group. And then I'm going to share a graphic in a little while. I made a graphic that I'm going to be sharing every single week here of our top agent attractors for Global Alliance.
Very nice. You know what memory came up? Because you were at the first spring break, Gil,
Yes,
or not her first, but the
the
last
last.
year, the year before, right? So Gil's in the audience, and Ben Kinney, founder of Place, was talking, and Ben has this thing where he really despises androids, and he has this thing where he like pays people to get rid of the Android and switch over to Apple, right? And this was during spring break, right? I'm almost
Yeah,
positive it was,
yeah, it was the
right?
first day. Yep.
And so he's talking, and he's like, who here uses Android anymore? And Veronica's like, Gil does.
Many
And
people
Ben's
in the, I don't know what, all of a sudden I felt like a wave of haters. Like I felt like there was a bunch of people in the room that just
it was real.
arbitrarily did not know. I mean, I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was there for one day only, coming back from Cabo, and like at least seven people in different areas yelled my name. Like I was like, like I don't know. It was atrocious. Like this guy, he's still using Android. Yes, that happened.
But man, he was like, I'll give you, what is it, $10,000 to your
He
charity of
started off
choice.
with he started off with $1,000. And I was like, he goes, I'll give you $1,000 in cash if you'll trade your phone. And I'm like, nah, no, no, I'm not doing that. He goes, I'll give you $5,000 and I'll buy you a phone. And
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not doing that, right? Then he brought it up to $10,000. I'm like, look, I'm not trading my Android for an Apple for 10 grand. It's just not happening. Then he was like, "Well, I'll give the money to your favorite charity," which you guys know that I'm a big supporter in the autism space. If you didn't know that, I am. So then he like brought it up to you. I'll give you the headphones and I'll do that. And then it didn't matter at that point. I didn't want the phone anyway. But then he was like, I'll donate 10,000 bucks to your charity. But yeah, that definitely happened in front of a live group of people, and he went for shopping the next day with that phone to get that phone.
Yep.
It was quite funny.
Brought it to you on stage. But then I remember last seeing you and you still having your Android.
Yeah, you know what's great about that story? He gave that phone to Tony Figueroa and to give to me, and that phone never came to me. So I'm just letting you know that phone never came to me. So I'm pretty grateful to still have my block phone.
Oh man, so spring break was amazing. Really good speakers and a very, it felt like a real intimate event. Maybe a couple hundred people there, but the theater that they had it in was really good. But it was a lot, they had the tactics, the strategies, the tactics, they were there, the speakers were there, but they also brought in a breath work guy, which was an amazing experience. He talked for an hour or something like that, and then the next day, 7 o'clock, we got together for an hour and a half breath work session. Absolutely amazing. Right. So John Cheplac was there. And he's always talking recruiting and stuff like that and systems, but he just showed us the numbers from one of the clients that he's coaching on something so simple. So simple. It was just 5 calls a day. Five, not even calls, guys, dials a day. 5 dials a day. And the results that this guy was getting from that was amazing. Cheplac 5 a day. 5 calls a day every working day. And they followed how many dials, how many people answered, how many people said, yes, I'll meet with you. Then how many people showed up, and then how many people were hired. 100 calls in 30 days. What is that? 4.5 dials a day. Picked up, tried 5 times. Only 42 of those answered. Less than half picked up their phone. 14 said yes. I'll meet with you. Out of the 14, only 9 of them showed up. The rest of them no showed up. Canceled on. And he hired 2 agents from that. So 2 agents in 30 days. But, these agents were certain production range. He hired 24 in a year just doing that plan. Simple, right? Average 3 sales per agent. He added 72 sales to his team. Assuming it's 10,000 commission per sale per deal, that's an additional 720,000 gross. Right? We could all do that for our rev share if we wanted to. That's it. Super simple. And he wasn't focused on, hey, I gotta make like 100 calls a day. He called 5 people, man. Can we all call 5 people? Like attempt 5 people. It's a simple thing. It's a simple math equation. And that one I've been kind of sitting on and dwelling with, and it's like, why aren't we doing that? Why isn't everybody just picking up the phone 5 a day? That's it. Fast Attract. You're right. Which, by the way, is coming up.
April 1st.
No, that's Fast Cap. Fast
Oh,
Attract
okay.
is the one specifically on attraction. Incredible. I've taken it. I think a couple of other agents have taken it. They have Sisu built into it as well. So guys, jump into that. It's absolutely amazing. We had Phil Stringer there. In fact, I pulled I pulled, one of his QR codes. I'm gonna grab it and share it with you guys, right? So you could pull some of the things that Phil shared, and I think he had like a training class that you guys could sign up on. And I think that would be great if as we go to these conferences and you get some good nuggets, share them with each other. Pass them along, right? You get a deal, you get a discount on something, you get a free webinar. Let's share it. Neil Dingru was there. He was a incredible marketer. In fact, I should have that. Francis should have that handy somewhere. If you could go grab that QR code. He's got a class next week that I think is
You
going to be
know,
incredible.
if you could, and now maybe you could review your notes or whatever while I'm just bringing it up here. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago who I figured in our space is uh like the dog of recruiting, right? The guy who's like the biggest of the biggest, and he was the author of GoPro, and I mentioned that book and went over his 8 lessons. But the reality is, if you actually subsection into the real estate space, and the guy who's responsible for the most recruiting results and coaching, it would be Cheplac, right? So
Yeah.
John Cheplac has been coaching the top agents throughout the world. And the biggest of names, the Veronica Figueroas, the Matt Smiths, the Dan Beers, these guys are monsters in their space, right? Which, by the way, I should also tell you, every name you always hear, these names that you think are like so incredible, at one point had zero recruits. At one point was doing their very first transaction. And I always want you to remember that because you hear these names and you think to themselves, you rate them based on the chapter they're in. But for some of these guys, I remember Veronica's first chapters and I remember Brent Gove's first chapters. And I didn't know those other guys, but like they look like all of us, struggling to make a deal, confident, struggling to get consistency. I bet you if you ask them, could you make 5 calls a day? They'd say, yep, I can make 5 calls a day. And then they'd hang up and they're like, they didn't make their 5 calls. And then you wonder why they didn't make their 5 calls. And then the no mas moment happens. I told you guys many times my story about my no mas moment, the moment that I was like, okay, I'm done pretending that I'm going to grow. I'm done pretending that this is how I feed my family. I'm going to make this the way. And it it happened a couple of different times in my career, but it was like I'm going to take a massive action, right? And for massive action, a lot of people think, oh, you gotta make 50,000 calls. No, you make 5 calls a day, 5 days a week. Like I love to just make a call. Like some people are like, oh, don't stop until you talk to somebody, and that's great too. But you have to know yourself enough to say, hey, this is where I'm going to say, I'm just gonna do this one thing, and I'm not gonna let myself down, right? I'm gonna make my workout happen. I'm gonna eat my protein or drink your protein, whatever you want. I'm going to make my 5 calls. Imagine at the end of this Zoom, you took the act of just making 5 calls and you didn't even judge anything but the fact that you're gonna make those 5 calls and then you're gonna repeat that 5 or 6 times a week, where you'd be at the end of the year. I can tell
Incredible.
you, like I want to give a shout out to and I'm going to put up the thing to in just a second of like our top recruiters. But like, how many of you guys know Keishla? How many of you guys know Keishla? Tell me if you guys know Keishla Bracero. Anybody? I don't see anybody's hands up. Nobody? She's in Puerto Rico. She recruited 4 people in the last 30 days. 4 people. And I didn't say a Veronica Figueroa. I didn't say a Rebecca Soto. I didn't say a Vincent Koo. I didn't say a Dan Beer. I said somebody who's not one of the top agent attractors in the world, but is doing the activities that will put her in that position. So if you don't know who she is right now, I see you, Caitlin. Great job.
Awesome. I love that. By the way, you mentioned like, all of these big names, they all started somewhere, right? They started from scratch. They started from zero. Um, First time I've seen Alec Cheplac speak,
Hmm.
John's son. And I remember seeing him on Facebook with John when he was 15 years old. starting to work out, going to gym with his dad. And I was like, that's a skinny kid, right? And his dad is like, he's all muscular and stuff like that. I'm like, man, it's gonna take him forever to get there. Well, Alec built an incredible what is it? Uh personal training business. Huge business. And then he turned it online and man, I think he turned it to like it was like 200,000 a month business, right? All through marketing. So he went up there and he talked about marketing and his big thing was God first and marketing second. He's like, that is the highest ROI activity that you could do in your business. So he teaches on that, he coaches on that, and he gave us this concept called the special snowflake syndrome. You guys ever heard of that? That's when you
No.
have something that's like proven, works, right? It's proven, it's there. You've got the evidence, but you don't do it because you think it won't work for you because you're a special snowflake.
You're
He said, don't be a
you're so
special
special
snowflake.
that it won't work for you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Your market, whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
different for
You don't
me.
understand. That doesn't work over here, Gil. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds great for you guys in Orlando, but that doesn't work here in Texas. That don't work in Utah. That don't work
Oh,
in
it's
Puerto
amazing.
Rico. That don't work in
It,
Georgia. Yeah, that sounds great. That don't work here in New York. You don't understand these New Yorkers, right? You don't know the
oh
things we're
man.
going through. Shit, that's such a great story. I wish I'd have been there for that.
You know
You
what?
know, it's funny. I used to suffer from that, to be honest with you. To be honest, I used to suffer. Let me tell
Yeah.
you how many snowflake stories I told myself over the years. I started this business and I had a very young face. My dad was in the business before me, and I thought I was too young to be in the business because when I got in the business, everybody was old. Right now, everybody's young, right? Everybody's in their 30s and 20s and 40s and stuff like that. Back when I started the business, everybody was in their 60s and 70s. Like it just didn't work if you weren't there. That was my first story I told myself. My first snowflake. My second snowflake is I got too many kids. Like everybody who's winning has more time than me, right? Like they seem to like they have more time on their clock, and that was my snowflake. I just couldn't win because another snowflake that I told myself was, and this was kind of early on, uh, you know, I feel like I forced myself into being like savvy, but that wasn't natural for me. Like uh, even the MLS was challenging for me. Like I went to the MLS class in my market like 4 or 5 times. I was like, everybody's figured this shit out. Like I couldn't figure out how to do fucking comps. And like I always thought there was a magic button. I think that's what it was. I didn't have the artistry for real estate in the beginning. I thought everything was a science, and I was like, oh, where's the button you push, right?
Hmm.
So I had a bunch of snowflakes. It doesn't work here. I don't know. It just doesn't work. So
That's funny. It reminds me of like I had that story. I'm too young to be successful, too young to be
yeah,
successful until you're
yeah,
too old,
yeah.
and all of a
Then
sudden
your
you look
then
around,
your
you're
your
like, man,
snowflake
I'm the oldest
changes.
guy in the room.
Yeah, your snowflakes. I'm too old. It's a young man's game. It's a young gal's game, right? Man, we could make
Yeah,
up snow. We could have a snowball fight with all the snowflakes we got
hilarious.
here.
Hey
What
Gil,
else did he say?
oh man, what did he say? He had a couple things that he broke down. Super simple. I can't remember if it was John or if it was Alec. I think it was John. No, it was Alec. Forget them. I was thinking about Sandy Payne, who was there. I don't know if that name sounds familiar, but she was challenged by Tom Ferry to do 100 listings in 10 months, from 0 to 100 in 10 months. Like how many for $10,000 publicly? How many of you guys would have accepted that challenge? Right? I mean,
I know a few people on this call. They would have said yes. Like
yeah,
I,
right?
I'm looking at some faces right now, and they're like, "Yeah, I'd accepted that challenge. Hell yeah, I would have accepted that challenge." Right?
10
And you know what's
grand.
funny about that is sometimes it takes somebody else challenging you, like, I dare you to do that. Remember when we were kids, I dare you to do that, right? And then all of a sudden you go do that. Like, dare yourself to do this, man. Like, you don't need somebody daring you to do something. Like, you don't need somebody publicly challenging to do something. Like, if Desmond was on that stage, it would be like, I'll take that 100 person. You watch me hold my beer, right? Like, Narda would have done it. I got half a
But
dozen
there's
people in this
something to
room.
be said. Something to be said about publicly declaring what you're gonna do, right? And having that public accountability. When you go out there and you're like, I'm going for that, that's different, right? It's different when you tell everybody about it. So she broke it down how she did it.
By the way, that arm that you just did, do you know where you got that
Mhm.
from? What's that from?
What, Babe Ruth? I
That's
don't
it.
know.
You do. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to, you're going to pitch that ball and I'm going to
Yep.
send it over the wall. And by
Yep.
the way, you've been doing that probably since you were a kid, hearing the stories. I don't think you watched Babe Ruth either, right? So like, but somehow we do that. I'm going to hit it over the fence, right?
That's natural.
Keep going.
It's like the victory pose. You know, even
Yeah.
blind people do that.
No kidding. I don't believe
Yeah.
that. I mean, I believe it if you
Right.
say it.
Yeah. It's
This
like
blind people do this.
blind people do that. It's just like that. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna ask the next how would I phrase that question? Hey, what do you
Give
do
me,
to, to signify victory?
yeah, give me the stance of
They do that. I
victory.
swear to God, I'll come back on this call and I'll mention it. Because if
Oh
that's what winning feels like, no matter who you are, none of us have snowflakes.
mm,
None of us have
man,
snowflakes.
that's right. It was incredible. Sandy broke it down, what she had to give up, what she had to do to get it done. And she did it. At the end, she did like 103 listings, right? 103 listings, but she broke it down to like, exactly what she had to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis to make sure that she had the opportunities to get in front of the sellers, to pitch her service and walk away with 100 listings. All right. I needed to hear that stuff. It was really great. Gil, I want to talk about um, because I think it's important, like what's happening all around us. What's going on with Compass? What's going on with Zillow? What's going on with the merger with Redfin and what eXp's doing and all that stuff. And it doesn't have to be from you. It could be from anybody in the room. This is a mastermind, right? So who's got a
Yeah,
good take? And
I'd
I
love
think
to
we
hear
need to
from
all
somebody
out.
their take before I add mine because I don't stay on top of that as much. I just know that
Mhm.
we've decided that we're just going to be a differentiator by saying like no, the seller's important. And the funny thing is, I feel like everybody thinks they're saying the same thing. Like it's one of those arguments like they both think they're saying the same thing, but they're not.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I'd love
doing
to
that.
hear some take on that. Huh?
Yeah, they all say like we're doing the best thing for the seller or the
Yeah,
consumer. And
the
I don't know.
consumer.
Yeah. So anybody have an idea of what's going on?
All right, take.
Hey guys, how are you?
Rebecca, hey,
I'm literally about to get on my uh, but I guess from all that happened is that Leo was approached by Zillow to sign up for 3 years to have an exclusive to do like a coming soon with them. And he's like, 3 years is a long time. There is no way I'm going to commit to that. And then he turned around and he signed up with homes.com, realtor.com, and comehome.com, which many of us haven't heard about it, but that's Google's platform. And he signed up with them to do coming soons with them. And then he put out a statement to the MLS that they should get on board with this, right? So I kind of like that because he kind of flexed, right? And I think what I could say about that is that I really value that type of leadership that is fighting from the front. He's like warrior leadership is what we need in this time like this because I feel like MLS, NAR, they let us down, and we have a leader who is fearless and ready to say whatever. And take action to make it happen for us agents.
Yeah, can you imagine signing a 3-year exclusive for anything right now with how fast things are changing?
Crazy.
Like, imagine what 3 years ago was like. No chat GPT, right? We were just door openers, like no representation agreements out there. It was
A
a
lot can
different world,
change.
wasn't it? Yeah. So to be able to to say, hey, I'm gonna lock in with this company for 3 years. All of my coming soon data is gonna go to you guys exclusively. I can't give it to anybody else because I've locked in with you. And Leo's like, no, man, non-exclusive is the way to go. Not only did he set up a partnership with these three companies, and Google is a beast. We're first to market with Google. That is huge. But he said, if anybody has access to portals, any portal operator out there, like maybe you guys know somebody, like I know somebody that I introduced this to. And his angle is he translates all the listings to multiple languages. I think he's like 6 or 9 different languages, translating the listings and putting it online and all that stuff. And as soon as I saw that, I sent the note to him. I said, would this be helpful to your company? And he's like, open data? Oh my gosh. Like, how do I get in? So as Leo announced this, people are out there reaching out to him saying, hey, I'll take that data. I'll put it out there. I'll put it in front of the audience that I have. And who's going to win from that? Your sellers. Who are we going to capture? We're going to capture those eyeballs. We're going to get those buyers. And it's not exclusive to just that one site. All right. What's your take, Gil?
First off, I got to commend our leader Leo, who is like not afraid. Like it would be typical as a CEO for a company to cower at the knee of a company like a Zillow, right? And say, nope, you're going to comply and obey with our rules because we're just that big. But you know what? We're that big too. And Leo's like, you know what? We're not doing that. We're going to be agile, which I can tell you when I first joined eXp, I took some time to kind of look at their core values. And agile was a word that I thought was very interesting that they would put in there, right? Because most companies I've ever worked for not agile. It was hard to move the ship. And when you have the ideology as like whatever decision we're going to make, and you should do the same thing, by the way, whatever decision you're going to make, you're going to do it based on how you believe in your heart's the right thing to do. And you've got to be able to trust that, right? And a decision is a decision to say, you know what? This is what I believe, and this is what I'm going to do. And having the courage, along with having and being agile, is super important. So I got to commend him for making a decision. I got to tell you, like, regardless of, other company stance or something like that, I'm not saying who's right or wrong, because like I said, a lot of people believe they're doing the right thing for the consumer, right? But there's different ways to do that sometimes, right? So I love the fact, and I'm empowered by the fact that we have a fearless leader who's willing to take a stance and to make sure that we're agile for the future and not sign a 3-year contract, right? Because that could put us in a situation that 2 years from now we wouldn't know how that affected us.
I think it was like a principled decision, and it was put in front of them right away. Hey, you have the opportunity to jump in on this too. And Leo said, man, that goes against everything that we've been talking about ever since I came here, right? He's like, for us to lock in on this, it limits our consumers. So let's get it out there. And to say no to something like that was big. You're right. Took a lot of courage. And then spoke to Google, spoke to these other companies, and he said, and Google asked for the exclusive too. And they were like, no, if you want this business, we've got to work on a non-exclusive basis. All right. So I think that's huge.
Yeah,
Anybody
that
else
allows
on
us to
that?
have freedom, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty big. I'd love to hear somebody else's take on it. Nobody else's take? Well, we got some homework to do, I guess, right? To kind of get to understand because people are going to make decisions on where they want to go. Consumers are going to make a decision on where they want to go. Agents are going to make a decision on where they want to go based on decisions that have been made. So I can tell you, whenever I make a decision personally, and my wife will attest to this, there's a couple of things that are always in the back of my mind, right? And I'm going to take away protection and stuff like that. But like freedom is at the core of my decision making, right? I want more freedom, right? So I gotta tell you, like some people are gonna be like, hey, I signed up for more freedom and this doesn't give me more freedom, right? So I just ask some questions. Hey, what are your thoughts on this? Rebecca makes sure it says, and she's on the plane. I love the fact that she's like, I'm going to contribute. It's important to stay in the know about what is happening, right? And that's the truth. Make sure you've got your notifications on. If Leo talks, you should listen because the world is listening. MLSs are listening. Boards are listening, right? Globally, the world is listening. I think Leo's going to be, out of the country for about a month, spreading the word of eXp, like just making sure that, we're positioned to be the global leader of this decade. And, his phone is ringing after that statement, like for sure, for sure. Oh, good stuff. I'm
Yeah.
going to share in just a second because I just want to make sure that we celebrate some people that have been working their tails off. And um, now that your MyXP, if you haven't looked at it, your MyXP has been upgraded. So if you go to myxprealty.com and you go in there and you want to look at your organization, you can see those people that are being onboarded. You can see people in your organization, right? But there's so much more. Like I can tell you, it is a flex. I used to think the flex was, and I can tell you, I recruited a lot of agents with this one flex. I would open my CRM in front of people and I would show them all my leads and I would show them like how dude, it's like I just need some help, man. And I got all these leads here. I was like, do you think you could help me close some of these deals? Like that was my flex. I would sit down with somebody and do that. And I open up my phone. I'd be like, dude, this lead just came in today and like he looks he wants to buy a $600,000 house. Like, you think you could help me? Right? That was my flex. But now opening up for like sitting in front of a team leader or a broker owner or a coach or something like that and open up my EXP and I can show them my organization. I can show them like different things that like all the toolboxes that we've got and things of that nature. That's a real flex. Being able to show how agile we have, how many things we have as a resource to another agent who's suffering right now, thinking to himself, I don't have everything I need. I don't feel supported. I'm not celebrated. I don't feel educated. I'm not inspired to be more. Like when I show people, like that's my agent attraction model. I just go through and I'm like, okay, take a look. Look at this. Will you look at this? Will you look at that? Bring them to our education calendar. There's so many great things. Like if you really want to wow somebody, you bring them to buildatsea.com and you show them what it looked like last year. Show them the video of us having fun on that cruise. And you're like, would you like some of this? Like, would you like to radically change your business forever? Would you like to feel like you're part of a community that would just fucking die for you? Like that will get somebody across the bridge.
By the way,
Politics.
we're through the second 6 week um, fast cap program. So that means we have results for the leads that were distributed. Remember the first time, last week I shared with you guys the numbers. It was like 1,930 leads that went out in 6 weeks. They beat that this time around, right? So in the 12 weeks that passed, man, they gave out like I just lost it. 3,359 seller leads. 3,359 seller leads in 12 weeks. We have 30 live listings on the MLS because of those leads. And we're expecting a lot more because the agents are taught how to properly nurture these leads now, properly manage them and all that stuff. Now we're doing this through realty.com, but here's what Leo said. He said, we're creating our own platform. He's like, we have everything that it takes to go out there and develop these leads. They're going to call it Zoo Pro. And they're working on it right now. And so pretty soon, we won't need their platform. We're going to create it ourselves. And his thought is this: if we're able to get our per person productivity from like 2 to 4, what that's going to do for you guys is it's going to double your rev share without having you add one more person. Think about that. Right? By the way, eXp's per person productivity it's high. It's like 5.8 or something like that. Right? But what he wants to do is help the new guys. Help the struggling. Right? Go from 2 to 4, and you guys get to double your rev share. So we're on to something with these guys. It's really nice to see the programs kind of come together and do well. I think there's still spaces. I just had somebody register the other day for April 1st fast cap with realty.com seller leads. All right. Jump into it, register for it, take it together, create a community around it, and let's get some listings. Gil, you had something you wanted to show us? You're muted. Unmute yourself. You know how this works.
Sorry, I'm dog sitting my older girl's dogs, and he just went on a barking like fast. I'm not a dog owner, so for those of you guys who are dog owners, I gotta tell you, like, I gotta create a whole new habit stack because this dog does not respect my habit stack. All right, let's see.
That's not a
Vincent.
dog, it's a puppy.
It's 4 months old. You're right. Let's see. And for some reason, the graphic isn't looking phenomenal right now, but I'm going to show it regardless, and I'll work on it next time. Um, I don't know why there's a line here if you guys are looking at that line, but shout out to Keishla from Puerto Rico, who added 4 people: Corey Block, Elizabeth Sears, Alexandria Pedroni, Matt Farnham, Nevada, Jeff Burke in California, Alexis Diaz in Florida, and Scott Kimball in Montana. And everybody else who's in the builder section there, who added to their agent attraction. I'm going to work on trying to making sure that we've got this every single week. And just
This is
shouting out
great.
those.
This is in 1 week, Gil?
This is the most recent list. I think this is a rolling 30. So
Rolling 30
I'm not,
days? Wow.
yeah. So but if you add somebody this week, you'll be up on the list next week. So it's I think that one of the most important things that I learned from one of my mentors is what gets measured gets results. And I gotta tell you, I didn't love when he said that to me because I didn't like it. I didn't like being held accountable. I said I wanted to be held accountable, but nobody wants to be held accountable when we're not on the board. We want to be held accountable when we're on the board. And what I realized the difference was we want to be accountable when we're winning, which means we want to be celebrated, but we just want to be hidden, right? When we're not winning, right? But from here out, we're not hiding our wins and we're not hiding our losses. So I want to let you know, I'm going to put this up every single week. I'm looking to celebrate you on this call. So if you are on that list right now, kudos to you. I want to shout you out. But it starts with making 5 dials. In 5
Guys,
dials, you can change your life forever. What's that?
screenshot that list. Say a
Yeah.
congratulations to the people that are on it. Introduce yourself. Give them an opportunity to co-sponsor with their next person with you. And then make a commitment to get on the list.
Good stuff. All right, guys, we're going to end up right there. I want to hear about your blessings next week. Same time, bring a friend, bring somebody in your organization that you'd love to help them do some agent attraction as well. And let's just go after it, man. It's about fire time, right? Like it's time. Let's get back in our game. It's March. It's almost April. Like get your flowers. Let's go. All right. So take some time, make your 5 dials, come back as a hero next week, and let's put you on the board. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Be well.
Take care, everyone.